Hey guys, I just wanted to say something I don't have to say very often, but here we are. I was wrong. For the past few years, I have become sort of a nihilistic human being. I have realized that almost everything that I have fought for or championed for online has went nowhere. Same with a lot of individuals out there. We lose every single battle, it seems to feel like. And so, really, ever since I would say Final Fantasy VII Remake came to PC a couple years ago, that was like the first big $70 game that came to PC. And I was really trying to hold the line. I was on all sorts of forum sites and YouTube comment sections and making videos and stuff trying to say, guys, we need to not purchase any $70 titles on PC. We need to hold the line. And luckily, not a lot of people bought that. But then, of course, Call of Duty, I think it was Modern Warfare 2, came out. It was $70, and every single person bought it. And just like that, the floodgates were opened, the dam had been breached, and now $70 games are just a thing on PC. And it's very unfortunate to see, but after that, I realized something. I realized, yeah, these corporations are going to get whatever they want all the time. There's no point, fighting for any of these things. And I turned into a nihilistic human being. I adopted the phrase, it is what it is, and just completely gave up hope of ever fighting for anything because I figured it doesn't really matter what we fight for. There's going to be so many retards out there that just buy stuff anyway without a second thought that it's going to completely outnumber all of us. But I was wrong. I was actually wrong. Over the past week or so, Escape from Tarkov, a game I've played since 2017, did probably the biggest fuck you I've ever seen in the history of gaming. It was actually impressive. If I'm going to be honest, I was flabbergasted by it. It was truly insane. They released, in case you haven't heard, a $250 edition of the game, which is insane. It had many pay-to-win elements in it, and it had what a lot of us have been asking for a very, very long time, which was an entirely offline, wipe-protected mode to play. You could play it with co-op, and you guys could progress together, and it was going to be literally the perfect way to get people into Tarkov. Tarkov is a very hard game. It's even harder to get other people into because the learning curve is so incredibly steep, and you have to play, with all these other humans. So we've always wanted this, and I actually wanted this so bad that I bought a separate copy of the game just to play single-player Tarkov, which was a mod that allowed you to play the game entirely offline and also download other mods. And this was the way that I played Tarkov for about 2 years. So this was a huge slap to the face for all of us, especially those of us that bought the Edge of Darkness collection, which was about $140, $150, previously the most expensive version. Also, a bit pay to win, don't get me wrong. But one of the things that was promised was that we were going to have, all future DLC. And apparently, with this $250 edition that just got announced, a few days ago, that did not include the single player game. So this was, in my opinion, probably one of the biggest fuck yous in gaming history. And I thought the same thing that I always do. It is what it is. We're fucked. It is what it is. For me personally, I was done with Tarkov. I was like, I'm done with it. I'm not really somebody in my romantic relationships or in my friendships. I'm not one of those people that's gonna give you a bunch of chances. If you fuck me over, it's over, man. You're done. You're out of my life, and I'm moving on. I'm not one of those people that's like, okay, forgive and forget, and I'll give you a second chance and a third chance. No, you fucked me. So you're gone, right? And it looks like in this situation I was wrong because the internet came together. They all took a huge shit on Battlestate Games, the guys that make Tarkov. And the creator, Nikita, he has walked back. I'm happy I waited to make a video on this because he at first walked it back a little bit and was like, oh, we're going to make it a little bit cheaper and this and that. We're going to, he basically was trying his hardest to hold on to it. And he walked it back, 2 or 3 times until basically now we won. I say we, but I was not actually a champion for the cause on this one. I hadn't said anything about it because, like I said, I've just been a very nihilistic person. I just gave up hope. But a lot of people online, champion the cause. A lot of content creators champion the cause. And it proved, now that he's walked back almost all of it, EOD players are going to be getting practically all of it. They got a bunch of extra benefits, which I don't really think was necessary at all. That kind of makes EOD more pay to win than it ever was. They said they're removing a lot of the pay to win stuff from the new $250 edition. They're still keeping it there, but they're also giving the offline mode to all EOD owners. They're going to make it also purchasable. So if you have, standard edition or something like that, you want to buy it. So we literally won. And yeah, I just wanted to make a video that, kind of addressed it because, like I said, while I don't make a lot of Tarkov content on the channel, I have been playing since 2017. I've played the game for a very, very long time on and off, and I've been very active in the community. Maybe not as a content creator, but in the communities of other content creators. I've consumed thousands of hours probably of Tarkov content over the last, however many years. And I just kind of wanted to highlight this because it is a phenomenon. It really is. It is a situation where a community came together. They said, no, this is unacceptable. We will not stand for this. This needs to be changed. And it was actually changed, you know? Even though Nikita walked it back a little bit and then everybody still held their ground. They said, no, this is still not acceptable. He gave a little bit more and everybody still held their ground. They said, no, this is unacceptable. You're going to meet our fucking demands or we're done. And sure as shit, here we are, and we actually won. Once again, I keep saying we won, but we as in the consumers, the people that play the game, I didn't do anything. So I gotta say, this has been sort of an enlightening and a very positive experience for me as an individual because it has sort of worked like a sledgehammer and bashed its way through a lot of my nihilistic thinking that I had built up over the past several years, just through loss after loss after loss. The corporate overlords have just beat me down over and over and over. And eventually I became, very much like one of these consumers. And, I'm not going to completely change my view on things. I still do believe that, I don't regret playing Dragon's Dogma 2 just because it had some shitty microtransactions in it. I'm not fully going all the way that far with it, but now I do think, especially if it's a game with a smaller community, more tight-knit community like Tarkov, I think that we can actually make a change if we all come together. But I do think that is an important thing. I do not think this can work with a lot of communities. I think you have to have this tight-knit, very content creator focused community that Tarkov has. Tarkov has a very unique community in that regard, right? I don't think you'll ever see something like this happen with a Call of Duty just because there's so many people that play that game. It's just never ever going to come through, and we had stuff with like this with Dead by Daylight as well when I was in that community with skill-based matchmaking and stuff along those lines. We all tried to come together, and it was even the situation with in Dead by Daylight where there's just so many people that played that game that were not tuned into the content creators and the discussion online that it was impossible to make a change. So I think you do have to have that special, like, genie in a bottle type of situation where, is that the saying? Genie in a bottle? Lightning in a bottle? Genie in a fucking lamp? Who knows? You know what I'm saying. It's like you have to have this precious snowflake of a situation in order for it to actually have a chance at succeeding. And something like a Call of Duty is never going to change, right? We saw that with the whole Nick Merck situation. It's like, oh my god, we're all gonna boycott the game. They didn't, and then even the content creators that are like, yeah, we're boycotting the game. Like Doctor Disrespect is still streaming Warzone all the time, right? So it's definitely a situation where I don't think it can happen all the time, but previously, if you would have asked me, I would have told you it will never happen. We'll never win. We'll never beat the corporate overlords. And yeah, I have never been so happy to be proven wrong in this situation. Huge W for gamers, huge W for any Tarkov players. And yeah, I just wanted to make a video, kind of throwing in my 2 cents about it and saying that we do actually, maybe possibly, stand a chance if we all come together. But anyway, thanks for stopping by. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll see all of you in the next video or stream Rooney. Bye bye.